But guys, there's another chapter. Obviously, it's not gonna be follow up of JavaScript for kids. Follow up of JavaScript for kids for dummies. See what I did there? Yeah. So obviously, JavaScript for kids for dummies, right? Chapter 1, part 5, page 72. JavaScript and HTML, right? Let's go. Come on, just work. I have to. Wait, JavaScript and HTML. JavaScript and the web go together like cheese and pizza. You could have one without the other, but why? JavaScript gives web page the ability to change dynamically in response to user input. Let the most out of the integration between JavaScript and the web. You know a little bit about how Java pages are built. Let's try to explore the language of the web, HTML, and show you how to use JavaScript to work with and change the HTML inside of web pages. This is what you eventually have to do. This actually is more complicated than you think, but for me, obviously, I've been doing this for quite some time, so I know the gist of it. But for those that don't know, prepare to suffer. Writing HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. That's a fancy way of saying that HTML is a language that's used to create links, hypertext. HTML is so much more than simply a language for creating links though. HTML forms a skeleton that the text pictures JavaScript and web pages attached to. So obviously everyone knows, right, that JavaScript obviously basically is a console that automatically comes with any web browser like Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, so on and so forth. So basically, HTML is basically the backbone skeleton of it. Creates a framework for JavaScript and the pictures that you see on a web browser. It's basically like the language that you use for the computer to understand what you're putting in the JavaScript and the web pages. Seeing what text looks like without HTML, markup languages such as HTML will invent or to give documents such as lists, books, or essays structured that a computer can understand and do things with. So obviously we all know that computers are dumb. We all know that computers are very dumb. So when you look at a list like this, things I need, carrot, celery, and spinach, we all understand it. But a computer, when it looks at this, it's pretty much a foreign language to it, and are totally confused with dumb. So obviously, as you see, the highlighted text that I've just highlighted, the computer does not understand a single thing that's being read out here. So as a person, you see this list and immediately understand, but to computer, this list has some issues and no sense of understanding. A computer has no way of knowing that things I need is a title rather than item on the list. So obviously, to make the text document understandable to a web browser, we need to use HTML to mark it up, right? So we need to use something that's called tags. So HTML is made up of tags. The tags on clothes give you information about what the clothes are made up of and how to wash them. Similarly, tags in HTML give you information about the content of a web page. Right? So obviously if you worked with Notepad++ in high school, obviously you would know that tags are the stuff that are basically typed out besides the content of the body. Yeah, I'm coming back. execution protocol. Tags are made of keywords inside of angled brackets and then come into two basic types, the beginning tag and the ending tag. Here's an example of a beginning tag. You might remember this from Notepad++ in high school, but still applicable in today's in the adult world. The P tag is how you mark up text in a document as well as a paragraph. Most beginning tags also have matching ending tags. What difference between a beginning and ending tag is that an ending tag has a slash before the name of the tag. For example, here's the ending tag of paragraph. So the starting tag for P, which is paragraph, and the ending tag for P, which has slash. So to apply this, the first thing that you want to do is mark up text, images, even other tags between the beginning and ending tags. For example, here's how you would mark up a paragraph or text in HTML. This is a paragraph text. A paragraph has space before and after it in order to separate it from the other paragraphs of text in the document. When you have a beginning tag and ending tag and the content between, we call the whole thing an HTML element. This is just a moving piece, a moving part, right, of the whole HTML document. So it's just an element. HTML is a bunch of tags that you can use to label different parts of a document. Examples of tags include P for paragraph, IMG abbreviate for image, audio for audio clips, video for video, clips, headers for the top for web page, and footer for the bottom of the page, right? So if you want to see an example of a HTML document, this is a simple example. HTML head, microC list, title. So this is an overall example, similar to Notepad++, right? Similar to that. So basically, this is basically structure. You'd be surprised with what this actually looks like on a web browser. So all of this is basically what it will look like on a web browser. So this is applicable to us humans, right? So this is understandable for us, but for a computer, this is complete gibberish. Hence, we need this, right? So the basic structure of a web page, right? The head element is like the brain of your web page. JavaScript code often goes into head elements, but it doesn't display in the web browser window, right? Creating web page is pretty easy once you know a few things about how they're built. The first thing to know, web pages share a very similar basic structure. You all must abide by just a few basic rules. The first rule of creating HTML documents is that tags need to be opened and closed in the right order. One way to remember the order in which tags are opened and closed is FIL, which stands for first in, last out. Notice the web page in list of basically this, right? Notice how this starts off with HTML, right? And notice how it ends off with HTML, right? Notice how the heading for the title, right? Notice how it starts off and ends off for this title. Notice how in the body, right? The tag for the body. Notice how it starts off. Now it starts off for the whole body here, and notice how it ends off for the whole body. And notice how for HTML starts off the whole element and ends off the whole element there, right? So basically, this is how the structure of the whole HTML element should be, right? Then the body element is where everything that you want to display in the web browser goes. The H1 element can be used to identify the most important header on your web pages. Headers typically identify sections of documents or web pages, right? Headers typically identify sections of documents or web pages. For example, if this chapter a web page, the first H1 element would come right after the chapter introduction and would read writing HTML. The OL element, which is an ordered list, right? This is a tag that you use when you create an ordered list using numericals such as 1, 2, and 3, OL, right? So this needs an opening and a closing tag, right? The LI, following the OL element, right, we got LI, right? Inside of either OL or UL, you can use any number of LI elements to create the individual list items in your list, right? So, all this talking, I'm sure you want to know how it actually looks, right? So you go to VS Studios, so download VS Studios, right? Create a new folder, set up an HTML and main.js file inside that folder. Name it chapter 5, index HTML main.js, right? So you go to your index HTML, you press exclamation mark, shift exclamation mark, hold on the shift, press enter, and it'll basically give you the structure for complete HTML. Within that HTML, go to the body and basically create what you want to have inside, right? What you want inside of it. So H1 along with closing, H2, my name is Gabriel HSRC, then you got image, right? Paragraph ID. Obviously, you want to create an identification element to your opening paragraph so that your paragraph can be personalized to be about you, right? So that when you go to your console, the element part of it, obviously you'll see it later on. Then you go to the element, right? And then you tap the top left corner. You'll see an element as I get to that stage, right? So here's your paragraph, lorem ipsum text, right? Then HR, H2, my favorite hobbies. As you can see, my unordered list, not ordered, but unordered, right? Identification, right? First thing, obviously I create an identification element to the ordered list so that element in your console will be able to pick up, right, what's being said. Like, for example, my favorite hobbies: praying to the Lord, exercising, learning, and socializing. In your button, right? That's another element, right? So you need to create a button for your change list, right? Change list, change your list button, scripts. Obviously, you want to source your HTML, your HTML's main JS. So immediately you can go to the JS. So control, click, immediately, voila, magic, right? So scripts, closing, tags, body HTML, right? And you can see your variables. For me, JS, you need a variable welcome, get element by ID, welcome, right? So obviously, in order for it to work on a web browser, you need to get your elements for the HTML by identification. So obviously, the reason why you do ID here and ID there, because you want it to be, you want your element on your console to be able to display the stuff that you want to display on the web browser by basically fetching it by the ID. So welcome.inner HTML on my web page. Right, you obviously got your different variables, your different items, the stuff that you got on your list, documents, functions, new list. So obviously, as soon as you press the button, you create an option, a prompt, right, to create a new list. Then obviously, in order to update that list, you need to create this as well, so you'll be able to update it, right? So you'll be able to basically not just have fixated lists, but different types of lists that you create on your own. So that's that. So obviously you want to see the execution. So reveal in File Explorer. Create in File Explorer, right? Okay. Go to index. Right, here's my whole page. This was me in grade 7 as a monitor. So yeah, then as you can see, you got your button. Right, so this is the web browser. Go to inspect, right click, go to inspect, right, then you go to elements, go to your console, right, so this is the stuff that, so I'm seeing in your console for the sources, your main JS is displayed here. Obviously, it's sourcing all the identification elements from the HTML so they can be displayed here. So you got your elements, right? The elements is stuff that's been displayed on the HTML, on the web browser. And as you can see here, the H1, H2, then image source, OIP2, that was the name of my image, OIP capital letters 2.jpg. Obviously, the opening tag P, closing tag P slash. Obviously, this is what you do. My favorite hobbies, praying to the Lord, exercising, amen to that. So praying to the Lord, exercising, then learning, socializing, then here's your button. Alright, so this is the basic browser. So basically, there's a lot of things that you have to add and make to make sure that you get your web browser to look like this. Alright, so that's the end result. Thank you very much for your undivided time to learn what you need to learn. Obviously, if you want to learn more, download the PDF JavaScript for Kids for Dummies like you. Don't be offended. And then you go straight into page 72, right? You go into that page in order to start off. But before 72, you go onto your cover page. Just start off, right? Just to read over, just glaze over, the whole chapter. So page 72, 88. Then obviously you read over that to get a basic overview. Then obviously execute what you've just gone over. Thank you very much, and on hand, long salute, and have a nice day.